Hello dear student, I am Dr. Priyanka Rana, Associate Professor, School of Commerce and Management, IMT University, Meerut. In this series of the practices and principles of management subject that we have started together, like we have discussed in this the nature of management, the significance of management and the principles of management. In continuation of those topics, today we'll start with the functions of management. By this time, I hope you have understood what is management, why do we require it, what are the basic principles that underlie the concept of management, and why it is so important, like what is the significance of management. Now, moving ahead, we will discuss the functions of management. The various functions of management are defined or denoted by the term post-COB. Now, what is this post-COB? Post-COB is, first is planning. The P is taken from the initials of planning. Second is organizing. O is from organizing. Staffing, directing, coordinating or controlling, reporting, and the last function is budget. You might have heard that the main functions or the primary functions of management are just planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and control. But given this extension, three more functions were introduced. Those are coordinating, controlling, reporting, and budgeting. This denotes that all these functions in totality is important for management, and this post-COB term was denoted by Luther Gulick. He said that although the five functions are important, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling, but still we always have a scope of three other functions to be included in management. And he said that coordinating, reporting, and budgeting do act as an add-on functions of those main five functions. So in totality, we shall study all the functions. It is not just we are confined to the five functions, but this term planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting are now the main functions of management. And we together will study all these functions in detail. Now, what is planning? Planning is knowing in advance what to do. Like in a layman language, if you are planning to go out for a dinner, so have a plan in advance that where we'll be going, how many office will be going, what we'll have for the dinner, or like, okay, that you can you can decide after seeing the menu as well. But still, before heading from your home, it is advisable, or it is clever, or it is good to decide that where shall we go. You cannot roam around on roads and finding a place that we should sit here, we should sit there. So that ways in management also, if you have set certain objectives for the organization or for yourself also, in that case you are supposed to make a plan in advance. Planning is setting broad outline of things that needs to be done and methods for doing them. You should know what is to be done, and you should see what all methods are available for doing that particular thing. Once you know this, then you can easily work on what all things are available. Now, deciding what needs to happen and generating action plans. Your exams are coming. You know you are supposed to study, and you are generating the action plans. Which subject will I study first? Which subject will I study more? Which subject needs my more attention? Which subject I am very good at, that can be done in exams only, that can be done as revision. Knowing what to happen. Third, process of thinking about the activities required to create a desired future on some scale. When you set some objectives, when you have decided something to do, then you'll make a process, or it is you'll think upon that how you will arrange your activities to achieve that particular objective. Your exams are coming, you have made a plan, or it is you have set an objective to achieve 90% of marks. Now what is that is required to achieve you 90% of marks. That is your activities, your actions, so that you can achieve the desired future on some scale. Not 90, but still you can go for 85 to 90. And if you'll try for 95, then of course you will achieve 90. It is a fundamental function of management process and precedes other activities. It involves determining the objectives and selecting a course of action to achieve them. It is a mental process requiring intellect, foresight, imagination, and sound judgment, and it consists of forecasting, decision making, and problem solving. See, in all these functions, if you study carefully, the main thing that is important is something you have decided in advance. Now it is you have to work for that particular target, or it is you'll work to achieve that particular target. And once you are done with that, then only you'll be able to achieve your desired goal. So planning is very important. Planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do, how to do, who will do it. If you have the answer of these questions, then it is you have made a foolproof plan and you can work accordingly. But if it is you are missing any of these questions, any of these answers, in that case, you may see some drawbacks, or it is you may find some difficulties in the course of actions when you are working towards achieving your desired goal. Now, why planning is important, or we can say what are the significance of planning. Planning helps in accomplishment of enterprise goals, or you can say desired goals. Basic functions of manager at all levels. It helps in the execution of all other function, and it helps to minimize cost. Now the first function that we have discussed, that we discuss now, is it helps in the accomplishment of enterprise goals. Now what enterprise goals is used, like, because we are talking about management, we are talking about organizations, about corporate world, about any firm or any company where you are working. So first of all, the planning will help you to achieve your goals. Here we are talking about enterprise goals or the organizational goals, but it is for you also in your personal life also. If you have set certain goals, it is very important you to plan beforehand so that you can achieve, so that you can reach on those goals. It's a basic function of all managers at all levels, irrespective of you being a manager at the top level, at middle level, or lower level. Planning is required everywhere. You have to plan accordingly. Like for the top management, the main goal or the main aim of them is to, formulate policies or formulate plan itself. And when they'll formulate the plans, formulate the policies for the organization, then the middle level managers will plan accordingly and will do work accordingly to achieve those objectives that were set by the top management. And in same way, the lower management will also plan and work accordingly to achieve the objectives set by the middle management. So irrespective of your level in the organization, you are supposed to plan at all levels. Until and unless you will plan, you will not be able to achieve the desired goals or the set goals for the organization. It helps in the execution of all other functions. See, for example, you are planning, you have set some objectives, and it is you have not planned accordingly. So do you feel that you will be able to achieve those particular objectives or goals? No. Initial function, like as we discussed earlier also, the various functions are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. But planning is the first and foremost function, and all other functions are followed by planning. If you have not planned, you will not be able to organize, you will not be able to direct, you will not be able to control the things. It is your planning initiates you for the other functions as well. Your planning gives you direction, where to move, what to see, where to see, how to see. And if it is you are somewhere missing any of this, then you have not planned properly and you will be facing problems in the coming future. It helps to minimize cost. For example, you have to go from point A to point B, and it is it is 100 kilometers away. The point B is 100 kilometers away from point A. You can go by cycle, you can go by bike, you can go by car, you can go by bus and train, or even by any other mode of transportation that could be quick and easy to access. But now it is you have to decide that how would you go, and like you have chosen some other options, uh, irrespective of knowing the value of time, because nowadays time is money, and you have chosen the option of cycle to reach from A to B, and you know that once you reach the point B you have ample source of income over there, and it is you have a design, uh, you have something good waiting over there, then you may will miss the opportunity. But it helps to minimize cost. If you are in advance, if you have planned something, then you know that how to move further. It will be helping you to minimize cost. If I'll tell you the example of minimizing cost, so the other example could be, for example, like planning will help you take rational decisions by choosing the best most profitable alternative, which may bring lower cost, adaptable to organizations and situations. Through planning, what managers generally compare different alternatives with their benefits and limitations. What is good in this, what is bad in this, what is good in that, what is bad in that. And if you have different alternatives, you can compare those alternatives, and at the end you'll come to know that which alternative is going to be the best alternative in terms of like what we have discussed in our first class, efficient and effective. Once you know that which alternative is effective and which is efficient, you will for sure go for the efficient one, knowing that it will help you to minimize cost and to achieve and to help you achieve the most out of minimum. This is the significance of planning. Therefore, it is advised to do planning in advance. Now, what is the process of planning? First of all, you should determine some objectives. Then you should forecast and choice a course of action. After that, formulation of policies, programs, budget, schedules, etc. to achieve the objectives, and laying down procedures and standard of performance. What will you plan? Why will you plan? First of all, you should have one objective. Until and unless you have the objective, you will not plan, or why you will plan. I want to have a good salary. I want to have a good job. This is my objective. This is my aim. So I will plan accordingly. I will work accordingly. But I do not have any objective in my life, neither in personal life, nor in professional life, nor in education, nor in growth. Nothing. It is, I do not have any objectives. So do you think I need any plan? Or any of my plan will work for any of those things? No. Until and unless you set the objective, you will not be able to make a plan or to work accordingly. So determination of objective is the first step of planning. Now you have the objective. Second thing is you shall forecast and choice a course of action. Example that I quoted earlier, from point A to point B. You know it is 100 kilometers only. There are various modes of transport available. But now you need to see that how will you go. It is a rainy season. Is it advisable to go on a cycle or a bike? No. It is you are in much hurry. So is it advisable to go in an e-rickshaw or an auto? You have someone waiting over there for you desperately, just for the sake of some help he is looking for. So in that case you need a quick mode of transport, because you could foresee how much he is looking for you for that particular help that he'll be providing you once you reach over there. Now you'll choose a course of action. Now you'll choose a mode of transport, how you'll move from point A to point B. Formulation of policies, programs, budget, schedules, etc. to achieve the objectives. My objective is to reach point B within 1 hour, but my budget doesn't allow me to board a car, to board a bus. I have the budget of moving by bicycle or by bike. I'm not in a hurry to reach at point B. I do not have anything scheduled over there. I don't have any program over there. I have my policies that I'll not be going, out of the way, or I'll not uh, ask for monetary help from anyone to reach there quickly. So, keeping all these things in mind, the best option available with me is I shall go by bike. Laying down procedures and standard of performance. Standard of performance is basically when it is you have, set something, you have set an alter, you have set some criteria to evaluate the performance. As a manager, you have said that by the end of the day, I want every person under me to report with the 100% productivity. But it is at the end when you evaluate the performance, then you see that few of them have only worked or have only proven their 50% of the productivity. So in that case, you will evaluate, or you will find out, or you will see that where is the deviation is there, because it is where you have expected 100% and people are coming with 50% of the performance or the productivity. Then you know that this lagging 50% behind is something which needs to be corrected, which needs certain actions. This is why we set certain standards of performance. Now, what are the characteristics of a good plan? First, a good plan shall be simple. Like it should be easy to understand, not complicated. It should be action oriented. It should neither impossible to attain nor too easily reached. And has to be some actions. There has to be some work done for those, for that, in that plan. Thorough, a plan must be thorough. Full coverage of all needed activities. No function should be omitted. No controversies. Motivate employees based on employees' participation and cooperation. Before finalize, employees to read and invite comments. Flexible, must reflect and meet current needs, should build in flexibility, and a plan shall be well coordinated, both consistent with the goals of the larger external system and coordinating internally as well. Made a complex plan, which is not easy to understand. How will your subordinates work on that plan? The plan that you have made shall be very simple. It should be action oriented. There must be some actions involved in that particular plan on which you will work, or how will you work to achieve your particular objective. A thorough detail must be there in your plan. There must not be if and buts, or may not. It is this way you have to do the work. Either this way or no way. But if we'll say that either this way or no way, in that case, many times we see some unforeseen situations, circumstances come across where it becomes quite impossible for the employees to work according to the plan. In that case, what you need is your plan shall be quite flexible. If your plan is flexible, if you have given the scope of changing things accordingly as per the situations, as per the circumstances, then the objective will be achieved. But if your plan is very rigid, that this way or no way, in that case, it may happen that you will achieve the objective, but it may also happen that for some reasons you may not be able to achieve the objective, because rigidity won't allow your employees to adopt some other actions, to adopt some other steps to reach to the objective. But flexibility will give them this freedom and they can work accordingly. Your plan shall be well coordinated. Well coordinated with, it should be coordinated internally and externally as well. While working the organization, if you have set some objectives, if you have made some plan, then you shall see to it that your plan is well coordinated within the organization and outside the organization as well. You are planning to take your students to the industrial tour. In that case, you need to plan it so well and so coordinated that inside the institute, inside the university, your students who are going on the visit, your staff who is going to accompany there, their transport service, what all is going to be with the students, or the way their students are going to reach the industrial plant, should all those things shall be well coordinated. And if it is all these things are coordinated but you have not coordinated with that particular plant or by that particular industry where you are going to visit, so will that industrial visit will happen? No. Internally and externally, in both the systems your plan shall be well coordinated. Then only when you'll reach over there, the staff members or the employees of the company will welcome you and will allow you and your students to visit their particular. Now the second step, our second function, we say, yes, one thing I want to tell you, that what we call our functions of management. You should understand these are functions as well as the steps of management. If you are planning, if you are trying to manage something, these functions will act as the steps as well. First you will plan something, then you'll organize, then you'll do the staffing, then you'll do the directing, and at the end you'll do the controlling. Okay, so these are the functions of management and the steps of management as well. Now the second is organizing. Once the plans are formulated, the next step is that of organizing. It is the process of establishing harmonious authority responsibility relationship among the members of the enterprise. It is the function of creating a structure of duties and responsibilities. The network of authority and responsibility is known as organizational structure. As we all know that authority comes with responsibility, and if it is you are being assigned with some responsibilities, you should have the authority with you to get your work done. These both terms or these both things walk together or come together. It is an important element of management because through organizing, a manager brings together the material and human resources required for the achievement of the desired goals. It helps to avoid duplication of work and overlapping of. If you have organized anything, now you know that how we are going to proceed, how we are going to work. So the duplication of these steps, the duplication of efforts will not happen if you have properly organized the thing. And this could be done after planning only. Planning is the first and foremost function and the step of management. Once you have made a plan, then now you know how to organize things according to the plan you have formulated. Until and unless you have made the plan, you will not be able to organize the things. My plan was to reach from point A to point B. Now I know what to organize and how to organize because my plan is clear. My plan is simple and easy to understand. But I had a plan that I'll start from point A, but I don't know where I'll reach. I'm going to point B, I'm going to point C, or where I will go and stop. In that case, your organizing will not help you out because you have not made any plan proof on which you will work. So organizing is something that is followed by, that follows planning. Characteristics of organizing: it is based on delegated authority. The responsibility and accountability at all levels should be clearly defined. Organizational charts are usually drawn. Unity of command is normally maintained, and it improves for division of labor. Delegation of authority is when it is you have given your authority to someone else to get the work done. And if you have been given the authority to one person, that he himself or herself becomes responsible and accountable for the work that is being assigned to him. In organizations, we usually find organizational charts because that clearly shows that how the authority or how the responsibility and accountability flows in this particular organization. And on the basis of that, organizing the things or organizing the actions become easy and more clear. Unity of command is normally maintained in the case of organizing because having one boss or reporting one boss is always easy than reporting to many bosses. So if it is you have a unity of command, that case you will be able, or the boss will will have easy access to organize the things. It improves the division of labor. Now you know that which of your staff is good at what and who can do which thing in a better way. That ways you may be and you will be easy. You will be uh, or you will be ready to organize the things at a one click. Now, what is process of organizing? First, you should determine and define the activities required for the achievement of planned goals. Planned is used here because it is you have set the goals, now you have planned also. Grouping the activities into logical and convenient units. Assigning the duties and activities to specific positions and people. Delegating authority to these positions and people. Defining and fixing responsibility for performance. And the last is establishing horizontal and vertical authority relationships throughout the organization. Now, as to say that what is the process? See, the simple process is you have to organize the things accordingly. You have to see that how the things will happen now. You have made a plan, you have set an objective, you have made a plan. Now you need to organize the resources available with you. That what all resources will be helpful in this achievement of the objective, and how these resources shall be organized so that when you'll achieve the objective, then you can say or then you can prove that the objective was achieved efficiently, not effectively. And organizing along with planning will help you achieve the things in an efficient manner, not the effective manner. So, so far what we have studied, the two functions of management, planning and organizing, they both complement each other. And it is you cannot organize until you plan, and you cannot plan until you have an objective set. Other functions of the management we'll discuss in the next class. So far, I request you all to revise with the concept of planning and organizing and go through these slides. In the next class, we'll start with the staffing and we'll cover the remaining functions of the